It's official. RuneScape's ruined forever. That's it. Pack it up. Go play Habbo Hotel. It's done. There's no one online even. Everyone's so upset, and so nobody has logged in. Not a single person today. Yeah, if you're living under a rock, Tombs of Amasket balancing and bug fixes today. They changed some stuff. And if you've looked at Reddit or Twitter, and I don't know, Yahoo Mail, people are not happy. A lot of people are not happy, and some people are like, yeah, this is what we wanted, like, all along. So, anyways, I'm going to jump into it. I'm not going to do a 20-minute read of this because I want to keep it as a TLDR. Too long, didn't read it. So, yeah, this is after the fact. I'm going to come back to that. Tombs of Amasket balancing changes. I'm going to speed through this. Zebek. Hit points is about 10% higher. More jugs by 2. So, you know when you go to push the jugs into the rocks and you're like, bro, they're super far away. I can't even get that to the jug. Yeah, that's good. Jugs no longer set attack delay, but still respect it. So, you should be able to pop a jug and hit Zebek. So, yeah, like before, if you hit a jug, it would take, with a T-bow. You'd hit it with a T-bow. It would be 5 ticks before you can hit the boss again. Anyways, that's fine. Jug rolls 2 tiles farther before stopping. In some of the layouts with the jugs and the rocks, they would stop before, like, too early. And then I would go to click on them there, and I would get pathed into some poison, push them again. Anyways, it was just not fun. So, I think it's good. Zebek is in a good place. Zebak. I call it Zebak. I don't know. Maybe it's because I'm Canadian and the letter Z is actually a Z. ZZ. Anyways. Akka, the orbs spawned during the enraged phase will only deal full damage to 1 player. So I think it was, if there's 3 people on the same tile, then the orb would hit all 3 of them. That's basically what I understand from that. Number of orbs spawned during the enraged phase is slightly reduced, since players felt like dodging it wasn't feasible. That is true. There was no point in dodging it. Like, you wouldn't actually try and dodge them because it was just too much. You would just DPS, and if your health got low, you'd drink a brew or whatever, ambrosia. So to compensate the base damage, it's been increased, but the max damage is capped at 25. So if you're doing a high-level raid, you're not going to get hit 35s or something like that. So that's good. Akka will change styles if he hasn't swapped for 60 seconds. So there was people that were kiting the boss, or, running away from the boss, not letting it touch them, and just constantly maging it the entire fight. Because if the boss was not able to attack you, it wouldn't change styles. So, anyways, they've just fixed that. You can't do that anymore. You got to do the actual mechanics. Yeah, butterfly method. We're just skipping through all this stuff. It's all good. Baba, the bananas will spawn when a monkey dies rather than randomly. Will deal significantly reduced damage. Cool. Damage done from the sarcophagi will no longer be dealt in a 3x3 area. So basically, that doesn't matter. That changes basically nothing. We're good. Wardens, it adjusted the damage formula for Phase 2 to benefit less from accuracy and have a lower max ceiling. I did a raid. People have done it. We don't really see much of a difference there. Reduced the core exposure time by 7 cycles or ticks. You can't get a 2 down quite as easily anymore. I think you still can do it, but 3 down is more likely at this point. If you're soloing, it's going to be like 5 downs instead of 4, or instead of 3. It's a big difference. You're getting 1 full less hit with a DDS, which is 100 damage, which they multiply out to 500 damage. It's a lot. Slightly reduced the amount of damage dealt to the Warden when successfully clearing the Phase 3 skull mechanic. So they've reduced how much damage is dealt when you fail to clear the skulls. That was a thing in, like, if you did an expert mode solo and you didn't clear the skulls in time, you would get 1 shot. So now it does less, but where is it? Reduce the base allowed time. Yeah, so those are together. You now have less time to clear the skulls, but if you fail, it won't just demolish your entire team or kill you in a solo. It'll do a bit less damage. So you still want to clear them, but yeah, it just rewards you being tick perfect or fast with it, and you won't get extremely punished if you're not. Slightly increase the base hit points of the Warden during Phase 3. When they say slightly, we'll get into this in a bit as well. Slightly. That could be, like, that's, what is that? Is that 5 HP? Or is that 500 HP? We don't know what slightly is to them. Is that 10%? Does 10% count as slightly? I would say no. I would say slightly means like 5%. So, like, we shouldn't care about these slightlies. Slightly reduce the magic attack bonus of the Warden during Phase 3. I think they've done this. T-bow's a little bit worse, apparently, and, like, mage weapons are a little bit better. I don't know. It's fine. If the T-bow is no longer best in slot on the Wardens, like, it's still very, very good in other places. So it's not like, oh shit, sell your T-bow. Like, you still want to have a T-bow. It's a good weapon. Wardens is a fantastic fight. The balance was a little off, or is a little off, sure. They should be challenging and resource intensive, but during Phase 2, the toughest part, players spend more time attacking the core than fighting the boss. It's true. It's kind of jarring. You just, like, imagine you're fighting Olm, and then all of a sudden Olm stops attacking you for, like, 50% of the fight, and you just stand there and hit it. It was fun as hell. It's fun as hell. But I guess, like, they should have just done that from the start. I would like to see an invocation where the core comes out, but, like, everything is still going. Like, the obelisk is still attacking you, or maybe even the, I don't know, something's still attacking you, like, as an invocation, like, as a 50 add-on there. Like, it'd be still very hard. Anyways. Phase 3 skull mechanics instantly pushes to the next skull mechanics, so players spend more time interacting with this mechanic than trying to do anything in the rest of the fight, so we got to tweak the... So I would like them... that was shit reading, sorry. I apologize. I would like... So I think there's 4 rounds of skulls right now. I'd prefer there to be 3, but I don't know. That's just me. Like, make it 3, but up the health of the boss, so that it's still the same amount of time. It's just less doing the skulls. Okay, the Path of Apmechan, the monkey one. Reduce the numbers of monkeys that spawn in each wave. Adjust to the timing of the waves so they overlap more smoothly. And you'll get 100 points instead of 20. It'll delete the hammer from your inventory. Final 2 ones are just whatever. These first 2, like, the room will be faster. Instead of, like, 3 minutes average, you'll get, like, 2:30 average. So that's kind of nice. Path of Het changed the health scaling of Het's seal for different group sizes. This is big. Getting those 1 down minings on the thing in the lightning room, the light room, I should say, the mirror bouncy boy, that's easier. You can get a 1 down much easier. You don't need to try and tick manipulate the thing to blah, blah, blah. Like, I just went in with 3 people. One of them was 85 mining, 2 of us were 99, and we got it 1 down, like, no problem. So, that's good. This is the big one right here. Mid-raid loot. Holy moly, people are losing their gosh darn marbles over this. Ambrosia and liquid adrenaline are now 1-dose potions. So, I don't know why. But, if we actually look here, there's a tweet that came out after the blog. We've tweaked the quantity of smelling salts and liquid adrenaline. You'll now receive 2 potions instead of 1. In next week's update, we'll be changing this to a single 2-dose potion. Unfortunately, this cannot be hot fixed. So, they've made it so Ambrosia, instead of being a 2-dose, you would get 2 1-dose potions. That was just a dumb idea. A main problem with the raid already is inventory management. Like, that's not a mechanic. That's just bad user experience, really. So I think it should be a 2-dose potion. If anything, make it a fucking 4-dose potion. Like, if you have 4 doses of Ambrosia or liquid adrenaline, those shouldn't be 4 separate potions. It's just annoying. Liquid adrenaline now rarely shows up in the Chaos pack. So Chaos was very good. Sometimes you'd take Chaos because you'd get, like, everything you need from Chaos and more. Now they're going to make it so you really do need to choose what you want. Ambrosia now only shows up in the Life pack. That's big. That was in the Power. You'd pick Power because you'd get, like, 2 Ambrosia, 2 liquid adrenaline. Now you got to pick Life if you want Ambrosia, which makes damn sense. Ambrosia should be in the Life because Life is like, do I want food? Or do I want to speed up this raid? If you want to speed up the raid, you're going to pick smelling salts and liquid adrenaline. If you want food, you'll pick Life. If you want a little bit of both, then you pick Chaos. So I think that's fine, to be honest. Totally fine. Adjusted the quantity of items provided in the Chaos Pack. Chaos Pack sometimes, like, legit would be in every scenario better than Life and better than Power. So it was just like, why not just have Chaos Pack every time? So that's fine. Increase the amount of run energy that smelling salts restore. I didn't even know it restores energy, so whatever. The mid-raid loot interface no longer stops your movement, so you'll be able to withdraw your supplies on the fly. That's nice, because, I mean, has anybody got caught with their pants down, like nothing in their inventory, and they're trying to get, like, an ambrosia out, but you've got 5 smelling salts in the way, and you're like, trying to open the thing and dodge the warden's attacks at the same time? It'll be nice to be able, like, you can click to move and then open the thing in the same tick, and you have, like, 2 ticks to take your stuff out. That's a nice little change. Ambrosia and Liquid Adrenaline are both items we want people to opt in if they felt needed at the high price of losing out on other useful items. Yeah, I don't know. I'll talk more about this after. Let's get through the rest of this. General changes. So if you want to make the Eladinus Ward F, you can now actually boost your prayer and smithing and it'll work. Crafting, you can boost that to make the Divine Rune Pouch. AoE mechanics. If there was 2 people standing on the same tile, a Kefri bomb would hit twice. Like, it would hit each of you, but it double. Anyways, now it's just less. So you're not going to get KO'd, like, unluckily. Players using On a Diet will no longer be provided with silk dressings or honey locusts. So, yeah, it's like you'd be on a diet. You'd be on a diet in the raid. And they would give you honey locusts if you died or wiped, and you couldn't eat them, so what was the point? Monster Examine has been re-enabled with the ToA. Guys, like, the tinfoil hats are now off. You can now just look at the boss's stats and know, like, exactly what the best weapon is. In the next week, you're going to see a lot of guides, a lot of DPS calculators and stuff like that, and you'll know exactly what is actually best. We noticed that grouping was less desirable because on top of the sheer number of obstacles to dodge, you're also being more harshly punished for running into them. Previously, if 2 people were caught in the same AoE attack, damage would stack, resulting in innocent players getting absolutely obliterated. That's fixed. You can group up and run headfirst into danger without endangering anyone else. It's good for hardcores, but just in general, yeah, like solo was seen as meta by a lot of people. It was just easier to do it alone than it was in a team. I want it to be like, if you got a good coordinated team, like that's best. That's kind of how it is in the other raids as well, obviously. TOB is different because, you know, solo is kind of broken. Monster Exam has been re-enabled as promised. Enjoy. Yeah, you said that right here. Thank you for doubling down. Drop rates. Okay, slightly reduced the base drop chance for tradable uniques. Purples, less common. That's literally what that says. But it does say slightly. What does slightly mean? Well, we don't know. So many people are freaking out about the raid right now and the purple rates and being like, the purple rates aren't good at expert, they're too good at normal. People were complaining about that. And when I say people, probably just like a 0.1% of the community was, you know, complaining on Reddit and stuff like that. I know for me, I've got over 50 KC and haven't had a purple. So like, I didn't think it was too good. I thought it was just probably fine where it was. So they've slightly reduced the base drop. We don't know if that's literally like, instead of a 1 in 45, it's a 1 in 46. Or does that mean it's gone from 1 in 45 to 1 in 60 or 1 in 55? Like, we don't know. There was a tweet, and I don't have it pulled up. There was a tweet by Mod Husky where he just tweeted the definition of slightly, and he said it's a very small increment. Because obviously people are freaking out that the drop rates have been nerfed. We don't know by how much. That's the problem. I think they will release. Oh my god, there's a frog in my throat. I think they will release the drop rates sooner rather than later. I think TOB was 6 months until they release the drop rates, which is kind of insane. I think for this they'll keep it. They'll bring the drop rates out in like 2 weeks because everybody's going to be asking for them. Okay, we've been monitoring the drop rates and decide that some small changes are needed. Expert is significantly better than normal if you're hoping for uniques, but normal is proving a bit easier than expected. Expert perhaps a little harder. We want players to really feel the value of trying higher raid levels, hence the changes. My personal experience was, I'm not going to run a 250. It's too hard and I hit a bunch of zeros and it sucks. I'd rather just do 150s. I'd rather do 2 150 raids than 1 250 raid or 300 raid. Whereas should be more like linear, like you're more rewarded for how much harder it gets. So they've They've changed it a little bit. These changes mean you shouldn't see much of a difference if you're comfortably farming at 150. Again, keep that in mind. You shouldn't see much of a difference if you're comfortably farming a 150 raid. Like, that's good. We all like this. The rates were already out. They're not nerfing it to oblivion. But you'll see a bit more purples if you push into the 200s. You're now rewarded for going harder, trying more difficult. It might still be better to do 150s and never die compared to 200s and sometimes you wipe, like for purples per hour ratio, you know? Again, we won't know. They're going to keep a very close eye on this as further balancing changes come in and metas develop. Yeah, like basically TLDR, 150 hasn't changed much, but if you're going higher than 150, you'll see a bit more purples. And people, streamers, had noticed I'm doing a ton of experts and they take twice as long, or you know they're more difficult, but I'm not really getting purples at a faster rate than other people. Like, you know, some people did 100 experts and they got 2, and then some people do 100 normals and they get 2. Like, it was just there's so little numbers on what's going on that, yeah, that's how it's going. So I'm gonna pull up a tweet by Mod Goblin. Shout out Mod Goblin. Good job, Nick. Nick, who looks very young to be drinking beer. Damn, you guys really listened to the sweats and nerfed the drop rates. Kinda cringe. Like, I get it. It kind of sucks to nerf the drop rates. But Goblin says it's primarily based off the data that we have around completion rates, time taken, drops coming in at various raid levels, etc. We can understand why you might feel that way. But most of the balancing decisions are data-driven following the first week. There's no way for Jagex to know the data of what's going to happen. Yeah, they're like, how would they know how quickly purples are coming in until they release it? And like, they had 1 million completions hit already. 1 million completions, so that's good. After 1 million, okay, how many purples came in? If it's 1 in 10 of 1 million completions, then you've got 100,000 uniques already in the game. Like, it's a lot. It's a lot of uniques. So if they were like, yeah, that's too much, and that's not what we anticipated, we thought people would be wiping more often, let's tweak the drop rates down a bit. So it's what they did is fine. They said slightly. I believe that it's actually slightly and not more than slightly. Let's hope. But yeah, ToA bug fixes. Read this yourself if you want, because we'll be here all day. There was one that there was one that I wanted to know. There it is, down here. The Osmumten's Fang should now distribute damage accordingly, rather than clamping damage at the lowest hit. People, somebody on Reddit did a test of the Fang somewhere, because they're like, hey, I'm hitting 8 a lot, specifically 8. Why am I specifically hitting 8 more than any other number? And they found that, yeah, like, they're hitting 8s significantly more than other numbers, doing a test. And it was because of a bug. They coded the thing wrong. So Osmundton's Fang actually gets significantly better with this. So if you don't hit a 0, if you hit a number, it was 8 most of the time. Now it's actually going to be equally distributed. You could hit anywhere between your lowest hit and your highest hit. And just kind of continuing along, there wasn't too many crazy things. They fixed some graphical glitches, my gosh. Yeah, so world first, cool. Cool. Route races, there's a race on if you want to take part in a race. Other changes, stuff like that. PvP Rota, yep. Happy reading, good stuff. So back at the top, players expressed frustration. This came in after the thing. With the quantity of smelling salts, liquid adrenaline, and ambrosia being offered following today's change. As temporary fixed, we tweaked the quantities offered to guarantee 2, minimum of 2. Next week's update, we'll be changing this to a single 2-dose potion. It can't be hot fixed. Yeah, so basically, the raids have gotten slightly harder. The drop rates have gotten slightly worse. And if you want ambrosia, you got to pick life, basically. Essentially, you know? I remember that time I said I wasn't going to do a 20-minute read-through of this at the start. Yeah, I'm going to keep it under 20 minutes. It's 19:45, 46, 47. You'll leave a comment down below if you got this far. If you did, nice. Good. Very great. Okay, bye. Love you.